Our group trip to Vietnam is now live. Y'all, I'm so excited. I am looking forward to this trip. We are going to be stopping first in Hanoi. Then we're going to be trekking down to Ninh Binh. And then we're going to do a 2-day luxury cruise in Halong Bay. Now, the visuals here do not even come close to capturing the experience that we are about to have. I have been looking at everything on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And y'all, this is going to be the trip of the year. Now, what you need to do right now is click the link in the description of this video. Listen, make your deposit. We have flexible payment plans. We have a few more early bird spots left. Go ahead and get those because you can get $200 off. And listen, register today. Don't delay. Let's go to Vietnam and have the time of our lives. But first, we got to get into the breaking tea. What in the world? Dr. Wendy and Eddie Osefo, what in the world? Y'all, let's get into this tea.
Want to say that, like all of you, I found out about the charges against Wendy and Eddie Osefo on Friday morning, and there's not much that I can say. I know nothing of the charges more than you guys do. From what I've read.
Okay.
I'm sad about this. I'm really sad about
Me too.
this.
Me too.
And, Wendy is just, I'm a Wendy fan.
Me too.
She has been a great housewife and a great role model for.
Yes.
She's always led with education.
Yes.
And, her solid family values. And so that's I'm really thinking about her and her family, and I'm certainly hoping that that this is all some big, nothing.
Me too, Andy.
And by the way, last night's Watch What Happens Live, we had taped that before I went to LA. So
I figured.
That is why you did not hear me asking Ashley her thoughts on that, in case you were wondering.
Okay. We'll talk to you later. Bye. I got it. Bye. Well, listen, y'all, you heard it from Andy first, okay? He is shocked, surprised, aghast, befuddled, undone, if you will, just like the rest of us when we found out the news about Dr. Wendy and her husband, Eddie Osefo. So if you were watching Watch What Happens Live last night and you wondered why there was no mention of it, it is because he had pre-taped the episode. They should just call it maybe Watch What Happens, because the chances of it being live these days seem slim to none. But I digress. No, Andy was not really on the phone with me, okay? That was him on his talk radio show, okay? Him on his talk radio show. My apologies, a little late today, y'all. I had to do Fox 5, Good Day DC this morning, Celebrity Dish. We did talk about the Wendy and Eddie of it all. We had to get into the Biz Nye. They had watched me and Taria's video on Friday where we broke down what was going on, similar to the way a lot of other content creators were breaking it all down as well. So yeah, Andy, no idea. He's just as shocked as we are, y'all. Just as shocked. Man, oh man. But again, I feel like, why do y'all even, I get it. You're busy. You got things to do. That little show, you do on Sunday nights. You ain't really got to do that live the way the title suggests. But meanwhile, let's get down into the episode. We're talking about episode 2 of the Real Housewives of Potomac, y'all. And actually, we got a little bit of interesting, odd tea here. And I meant to post this in the thing, but I'm gonna actually send it to myself now. but I just gotta take out a word. Give me 1 second while I try to blot out this word, y'all, because I don't want to put the word on the screen and then, somebody be offended. Okay. So you hang on to your horses while I edit this thing right here. This will let some other people get into the room too, in case they missed the notifications. I notice I'm going live now. YouTube sending out a little bit more notifications. Thank the Lord. Praise God. Won't he do it, saints? All right. Ashley had quite a few things to say. Ooh, I didn't make that dark enough. Anyway, Katie, Katie, forever the commentator. Katie, the commentator, I would say, says, Ashley, I love you. Oh, Ashley and I love each other. There is no beef. But my magical vajayjay, she told details about. She told Andy Cohen I have a hamster punani on national TV. She ate it. So I guess she should know. She is just a hater. We love you, Wendy. So in case that supported Dr. Wendy outside of, whether you do or not, just know that Katie is in her corner. Okay. Katie is in her corner, and she just dropped some bars about the cooter that I really wasn't expecting. Things are just daily. I'm shocked. Okay, daily I am shook. Even. I don't know if, as per the episode, I'm more shocked that Stacey is Nigeria, as we did talk about last week. That came up today. Last night's episode, Stacey is the Nigeria. Also, too, we learned that Stacey has allegedly wanted to be hooked up to Chris Bassett, not Chris Bassett. Oh my God, Lord, forgive me. There's a lot of Chris's out there. Please, I take that back. It was not Chris Bassett. It was Chris Samuels. It was Chris Samuels that she was trying to get with, allegedly. Let me put the alleged badge up here because all of this is alleged. Okay, it's all alleged. All right, so apparently Stacey was allegedly trying to get with Chris Samuels, as per Ashley. She learned about this allegedly at her Bloom Ball, but then I felt like on Watch What Happens Live, she said she had learned about it months before. So I was kind of curious as to when she really learned this tea about that. And then when she did find out, did she immediately go run and tell Monique? I don't really, we don't know that yet, right? We don't know what is to come of that yet. And we also learned that Stacey allegedly did not come up with the "Can I bust" line until after Giselle suggested it at the reunion. Oh, did you not know? Well, guess what? Now we know. All right. Now we know the timeline according to Stacey. As I stated last week, I would not, call Stacey. I'm 100% not going to call her a liar, but I 100% don't believe her on this matter either. Okay. Stacey is a beautiful woman. And I feel like there's two things happening on this show, and we'll get into the episode because I've kind of given you a lot of the highlights already for those of you guys who like a hit it and quit it, because I know some of y'all just like to hit it and quit it without any foreplay. But anyway, satisfy yourself how you please. But anyway, a lot of things are Stacey is the center of a lot of the chaos of this episode and the last episode. And it really is. I do think that the ladies are genuinely curious as to what is really going on with Stacey. I mean, it really does make her a little hard to get to know in a friend group if nobody can feel like they really believe what you're saying to them, right? But the ladies are doing themselves a disservice because the way they are piling on to Stacey makes it feel as though she is being ganged up on, and the audience will always root for the underdog. So even as they bring up what seems to be solid evidence against Stacey, it doesn't again, they sort of cancel out all of their efforts because a lot of the stuff with the breath comes across as mean spirited. Okay. Yes, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, a lot of this stuff comes across with like the breath as mean spirited because it's coming from so many different angles and so many different people. You know, I feel like there's an element of entertainment that I feel like oftentimes should probably stay behind the scenes. We first learned of an alleged older issue from Vivian, who apparently had Stacey had borrowed some dresses from, and then that was on online because Vivian felt, I'm assuming, pushed by Stacey from some things that Stacey had said in the near the end of last season. And so as we've continued to roll into this new season, whereas we didn't hear about the breath last season, we're hearing about it this season. So much so that people are offering her mints now, which, by the way, I mean, that's the thing that you do. When somebody's breath near you that you work with is bad, I mean, I don't necessarily know that you just go run and tell everybody. And you definitely don't you don't call them out on their stink breath in front of the group. That's definitely not friendly. But if you wanted to basically say, hey, babe, my God, let's talk. I've got some mints right here. I'm going to eat one. Yeah. Do you want one? Do you want a mint? If she says no, you ask again. Okay. This is the politically correct way to do it. This is how we do it amongst friends, family, coworkers, and associates in any real environment. What we don't do is socially, period, for me, is we don't say in front of a large group, my God, your breath stinks. Oh my God, can you back away? Don't her breath smell bad? Oh God, it's the funk of the future. Ugh. I mean, it smells so bad, it smelled like it came from someplace else in 2024. I mean, 2033. You know what I'm saying? That's what they give in the episodes regarding this alleged breath problem. And I just think that is one of those things in the world of entertainment that should be kept behind the scenes. Yes, I mean, it might be a thing, right, for them. But it's kind of like that should remain behind the scenes. Like, God, I did a scene with her today, y'all. I couldn't take it, But did you offer her a mint? Did you try to help her solve the problem? Because maybe she does not know. I'm not saying the lady has bad breath personally. I've never experienced it, but nor would I ever say it to you, nor would I ever tell anybody else. I just don't move like that. Like, I just feel like that's kind of crazy to me. And it feels like it's in a way, it feels like Nene says, it declasses the show, and again, and it could be storyline, but at the same time, it's not a good one. It's not a good one. And if I was in production, I would have edited all of that out. That's just me. I would have been like, no, we're not going to do that. I mean, they got enough on the girl to kind of make a case for, is she really truthful? Can we truly believe her? Does she have a problem with the truth? I mean, does she have an interesting relationship with, reality? Perhaps. I don't know. And Stacey does herself no favors because Stacey is very cagey. She really never gives us true answers to questions that are actually very solid questions, like yes, no. Okay. I did not. And here's another thing too, and I want to bring this up because I'm going to get back on track, guys, but I gotta like get this off of my chest. On Watch What Happens Live, Jeff Lewis, by the way, and I'm just gonna give you guys my thoughts on him, and I'm sure he probably doesn't care what I think, but I don't really think that, or nor do I want for him to be on Watch What Happens Live when it's clear that he doesn't watch the show for which they are going to be talking about that evening, right? Clearly, he does not. I don't know if he watches any of the Black Housewives franchises, but he had no interest in Potomac at all in any way, shape, or form, right? And it was very, very clear. And he also said something interesting. He was like, oh, I just don't know. They have too many girls on there. They don't have any more girls on there than the Beverly Hills girls. They don't really have any more girls on there than the Salt Lake City girls. So please miss me with that. You just don't know them. Okay. You just have zero interest in them. No, I can't say that it's because it's a black show. I don't know. What I do know is if you have zero interest in it, you should just actually opt out of the episode and do it another day. Okay. Go on a night when it's Real Housewives of Orange County, when it's something that you can truly have an opinion about. But otherwise, you just kind of seem like you're just sitting there like a lump on a log with opinions about barely nothing. Okay. Next. He did make one good point, though, and that was this. And I think this is interesting. He said that there have been times when there has been somebody that has filmed with him on a television show. They may not have been, they weren't a part of the cast, but they were doing him a solid by filming with him, and he did offer to pay them. That is what Stacey should have done. Stacey, or could have, right? Stacey could have simply said about TJ, yes, he is someone who is a working actor, and we had a thing going. And I did offer him, hey, if you do some scenes with me, then I will compensate you for you taking time out of your schedule to do this. I mean, it's no different than, I mean, it is different. Don't get me wrong. But didn't we know that Cynthia did the same thing with Peter Thomas, right? But we know that they were married because, my God, we saw it, right? We saw that. But I'm just simply saying that Stacey, in my mind, could have taken such a different route with that. And this is a prime example of why people don't believe Stacey, and why, as Giselle stated in the episode, like even when it came to her marriage, her divorce documents, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired too. And I'm glad you're tired, because I don't want to have to keep hearing about the same situation for the next 15 episodes. Okay. Now, we start this episode off. It's episode 2. Okay. The episode title is actually meant to be something. I don't really know. I don't feel like looking it up right now. And I'm like, oh, I hate that. I hate that production is leaning into this breath mint situation, but whatever. The girls are still at Ashley's second bloom party. You know, there's still some tension between, now all the girls are sitting there. There's still some tension between Wendy and Kay. Now, something that Wendy says, now I know we all got an eye on Wendy right now, okay? We all got an eye on Wendy in the episodes. But there is something about Wendy sitting there. If you notice, when she's sitting there in that thing with the wings that are about to fly her away, as she's sitting there so regally, she says, I don't have a problem. Something that she said. She's something like, I come in peace and she's in pieces. And I just cried laughing in my mind, because I can so see her saying that. I can so hear her thinking it. And I can so clearly feel her energy in that moment. And it was so clearly giving, I am so above this. And then in my mind, I'm thinking conversely, wow. But did y'all burglarize your own home? Like that, the dichotomy in my mind is diabolical, right? The questions that I now have to ask myself, they are completely diabolical, because Perry, I know, I said I'm paraphrasing. My God, today. Anyway, my mind just goes back to, if that did happen, if they did organize the burglary as the police sort of insinuate, were they running around the room throwing things amok? Because if you're doing that, you then have to think to yourself, oh, we're going to have to clean this up. We can't mess this room up too bad, because we're going to have to be the ones to clean it up later. So don't make too much of a mess, but make just enough of it. Like, those are the thoughts that I'm thinking in my head. And listen, I still to this very moment hope and pray that none of it is I hope and pray that they didn't do that, right? Hope and pray because y'all know how I feel. I've made it no secret that I like Dr. Wendy, right? I like the energy. I like what she brings, right? I don't know her personally, but I'm just saying, like, I liked her. I liked where she was going as a housewife. That's it, right? But I'm just like, as I'm looking into the home, you know what I'm saying? As Stacey shows it to her, I'm just wondering about all these things, right? So anyway, to take it back, Stacey gets brought into the group, because there is a moment between her and Ashley and Kiana where Ashley basically says that Kiana told them that Stacey said that she was never going to drop her sort of act to really let the girls get to know her. And Kay says, yes, you did say that. You said that to me, right? I think it might have been when they were in Lake Norman, but I can't recall the exact point in time. Perry, do you know? Can you tell us? I'm just joking with you, Perry girl. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a good time today. But listen, so at that point, Stacey then reveals that as just like Tia and just like Wendy, she too is Nigeria. My God, my God, my God. Okay. So we talked about this reveal before, right? Oh, you know what? See, there you go. I like that. That's the spirit. You good in my book, boo. All right. So look, we then see Stacey go to Dr. Wendy's house, right? And I know y'all was looking like, what? I mean, were they trying to remodel something in that house like they said? Oh my God, this too is what is crazy. I had so much stuff that I had to get together before the episode aired that I wanted to show y'all. But this is another one that I wanted to show you. Hold on, stand on by. Stand by your man. Okay, hold on. Hold your horses. Because when I saw this, I nearly dropped my phone. Okay. The technology don't ever want to. Norman, can you come and do this phone? You know, I got a lot going on today. Okay. I don't know. Did anybody else peep this? Is this indeed the same ring? Was she indeed wearing the stolen ring in episodes 1 and 2? Oh no. Oh no, Wendy. Oh no. If this ring, and see, this is the thing for those of you guys that may be wondering, well, how do we know that's not the, I mean, she didn't get a replacement, right? Apparently there's something about the appraisal that was done with the ring. Something happened that made it seem like this has been verified that is the same ring, right? But I'm thinking to myself, girl, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. The ring did mean a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't listened to Kim Zolciak not once. Not once. Like, I I am befuddled. Okay. And listen, the fact that they did not take it out of the episode at all. I mean, at this point, they couldn't, right? And I don't really think that they can do. I mean, could they do something to save her? But I don't even know because I didn't. A lot of y'all might have been looking, but I did not catch it. Shout out to Bravo OMG. Man, I'm like, are you kidding me, Wendy? Oh my God. Oh. Girl. if nothing else, that ring should have never seen the light of day again if it was indeed stolen. And then for me, I told y'all, we talked about this. Fake jewelry, or as a lot of you guys say, that moissanite also blings better than diamond nails. I always feel like fake jewelry shines a little brighter on camera than the actual diamond L. But that's just me. Like, girl, what were you thinking? Now you're wearing it on the telly? Oh. No, Wendy. Did she watch this episode? I I wonder if she's, I mean, listen, oh my God. Now, maybe this is because they are not skilled in this game that they have chosen allegedly to play, right? Because I can't think of a solid reason why you would still be wearing that. Um, mm, mm, mm. I don't know, man. And again, a lot of these things, as I'm seeing them for the first time, my mind is kind of always blown. Like, oh God, I guess you like. I mean, oh, you have to really think of everything. You would have had to think of everything, everything. Anyway, she's at her house. Stacey comes over, and we learn in this scene a couple of things. We learn that Stacey, Wendy learns that Stacey is divorced but back together with her husband. And Wendy also, and we too learn. Actually, I saw it before the episode aired. I saw Stacey tell Bryce Sander in an interview with Entertainment Tonight that she claims that she did not start the "Can I Bust" line, okay, until after the reunion when Giselle said it. Now, she says that, yes, we were in talks with a lot of different vendors, a lot of things, a lot of opportunities that come her way. And then after Giselle mentioned it, she thought to herself, ever the enterprising woman that she is, why don't I start a "Can I Bust" line? And I'll name it after my Nigerian heritage. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, that's what we'll do. I'll show you, Giselle, exactly how powerful I move, and still I rise with my "Can I Bust" line. As Wendy basically has to just say, you know what, girlfriend, I wish you well. I truly wish you well. I do like that Stacey told her to her face, but I again don't quite necessarily believe her, because I just think that I feel like she wanted to start the line. She did not want anyone to know. And she, instead of just simply saying, I can't talk about that right now, and being embarrassed, she chose to deny it at the time. That's what I believe. Um, and that's this the direction that Stacey is taking is a strategy. Now, what I like about Stacey's strategy is the woman can take a licking and keep on ticking. They have whacked this woman over the head so many times with so many things. A lot of this her own fault, though, right? But they have whacked her and whacked her and whacked her, and still she rises like a like a jack in the box, right? She just pops back up out of that box like nothing ever happened, like nobody ever closed the lid before, like she'd been up the entire time. You know what I'm saying? And for that, and she does it with a wink and a smile. Like, I don't, these guys are so mean. but I'm still here. I mean, that's kind of what it's given. It's low-key diabolical, and I low-key love it. But I just low-key feel like I'm also low-key going to get tired of it if she doesn't start just kind of giving some solid answers. But we're still on the train, so let's continue to ride it. All right. So we get a couple of other scenes. We learn a bit more about Angel. We learn a bit more about Tia. Yeah. I'm interested in both. I like them both. They're very different. I oftentimes state that when Housewives shows bring on new characters, they need to bring on two instead of just the one because it takes the pressure off of the one. Note, Nneka, okay? Had Nneka come on without the Lebe of it all, without the Wendy's mom of it all, and she come on with another housewife, another new housewife, I do think that Nneka would still be around. But I think that what Nneka did was she went down this path with this particular story. Even if Lebe was still involved, even if the mama did call her, I wouldn't have brought that to the show. Mostly because it had to deal with the mama. And I just felt like the story of it was so abysmal, right? And I also think that production should have been like, no, no, girl. If you don't like Wendy and you don't want to like her, then just don't like her, right? If this did happen and you got your guard up against her, have your guard up against her, talk it out, do something, take a different approach. Not to say that this did not happen to you, but we know how this is going to play out. And these are producers of these shows. They know. Experienced producers know. I could tell you, no, this feels way too abysmal for this audience. No, no, ma'am. We're not going to do it. All right. And I'm sorry this happened to you. Y'all gonna have to settle that and with the spirits over there, okay? But not on this show that is meant for entertainment value. Period. All right, so I like the two new ladies. Cool. Now, we did talk about this scene before where Angel sits down with Giselle. She tells them about an event that she had where it was just a couple of the ladies. And apparently she was talking about her issues with Wendy. And Angel was basically like, well, trying to get Kay to look at it from a different perspective, especially because the kids were involved in what Wendy's argument was for not telling Kay she was going to be on a red carpet or something like that. And so Kay tells Giselle, I had to chin check her. And Giselle is like, as I knew, oh, chin check. Do we do that to friends? Because chin check sounds like a little physical aggression, right? So as the ladies all convene at Angel's house for a little trust and healing of some, or with a sound bath or something like that, Giselle makes it clear, I'm not here for trust and healing. I'm here for lies and mess. Girl, we know. We know. All right. We're well aware. We're 10 years in. We understand. We get it, right? But it was funny. So the ladies start to arrive and, there's some cattiness involved. Some of it coming from Dr. Wendy. And again, the breath mints come up with Stacey. I'm very much over that. Giselle does a little bit of messy work, right? She checks in with Wendy and Kay. Are y'all good? For Wendy, she feels like she's good and she never had an issue. Kay feels like Wendy's being dismissive of her issues still, right? Then Giselle is like, Angel, you and Kay okay? Are y'all doing good? And Angel's like, what are you talking about? Basically, Giselle is like, yo, because Kay told me that she had to chin check you. Angel is like, chin check? Who chin checking who? We ain't chin checking nobody over here. I'm not getting chin checked. And so at that point, Kay has to be reminded that she said chin check. She meant chin check the situation. I do think Kay meant that she chin checked Angel. I do, right? Now, was it over the situation? Yes. But I noticed that nobody brought it up. Like nobody said, well, yeah, I was chin checking her over her defense of Dr. Wendy. Now that would have been more interesting, right? Because then we could have got to the root of the chin check. Meanwhile, they go do the sound bath. They do all of this, yada, yada, yada. Stacey then pulls the girls in and she wants to tell everybody, hey, guys, she really wants to tell Ashley because she's been praying over them, that they can get in a better place. And she reveals this document that reveals that she, in fact, is divorced. But to Giselle, it doesn't appear to be that this is a notarized document. So Giselle is like, you know what? I'm over it. Like at this point, I don't believe nothing that you're saying. This doesn't prove anything. This looks crazy. And I'm not doing this no more. And Kate herself is very much like, I don't care. Like, I mean, because at a certain point in time, it's like, if we don't believe you, then we're not going to take anything that you say seriously. That's not a good space to be in. So Stacey's going to have to do some corrective action as she moves forward throughout this season in order to to get away from this sort of stigma that she is a liar to the group, right? So so that happens. The next scene that we see is Giselle, Kay, Ashley, and Cookie, who is good friends with Karen. They get an update about Karen and how she's doing while she's away. And then Ashley, Cookie says that she's texting Chris Samuels. And then Ashley says, oh, yeah, y'all, Stacey was trying to get with Chris Samuels. She wanted my girlfriend to hook her up with him. And so it's like, Stacey, come on. The problem is if Stacey is running around doing all of these things behind the scenes, she does a very good job of presenting the doe-eyed ingenue. But it's kind of like the cast is like, girl, what are you doing? 1 minute you're with TJ, the next minute you are now with your husband, but in between there, at some point in time, you was asking to be hooked up with Chris Samuels. Like, what is going on? Which signals to Giselle, somebody call Monique, right? And so that was their way, in my mind, of saying, ooh, let's tie Monique's entry back into the group with this new information. So it's so juicy that Giselle has literally completely forgotten about Bindergate and all of that. She is just ready to get down to the tea of it all, the mess of it all, and figure out what is going on. What I'm more interested in, and I don't really care about Stacey, whether she tried to get with Chris Samuels or not, because she's not going to really give us the full story. And I get it. Okay, girl, I fine. It's not you to be blunt and open about your life in this way. Okay, cool, right? What I'm more interested in is seeing Giselle and Monique sit down together, because that, I think, is what us longtime Potomac fans are really going to be interested in seeing. Okay, so that's my thoughts on that. I don't know how Monique is going to react to the news about Stacey and Chris. I don't really know. But what I do know about her is I don't think that she will care. Period. I just don't think she will. That is my assumption. I've not spoken to her about this. I have no knowledge of how she handles the situation, because I always try not to ask about things that are going to happen, that are going to unfold, because I don't want to know. I don't want to have the weight of that on my shoulders, to know all of these extra details and then not to spill it because I'm running my mouth. Okay? Period. I don't think she's going to care. Trust and believe. That's my educated guess about the situation. But we'll see, right? We'll see next week. So with that being said, we're going to keep our eye on what's going on with the whole Dr. Wendy and Eddie situation. Obviously, the Real Housewives of Potomac will continue. Whatever news comes out, we'll talk about it. But most likely in a live, listen, y'all, lives tend to just do so much better in terms of just me sitting down and being able to just get all the stories in. So we'll try to do these daily. I need to figure out a solid time, but we'll figure that out as we go along. But with that being said, make sure you guys keep it locked onto the channel. If you are interested in going to Vietnam with us, I have 10 more spots, y'all. I have 10 more spots available. It's March the 14th through the 20th of 2026. It's amazing. It's amazing. The entire group that came with me to Zanzibar is now going to Vietnam as well. So I'm so excited about that because I had so much fun with them. I laughed the entire trip. It was so good for my soul. So if you guys want to go, the link is in the description. Make a deposit. You can pay over time. It's super easy and it's not expensive. And it's not expensive there either. So make sure you guys tap into that if you are interested. With that being said, I will catch you in the next video.